Is that okay?
Yep, we back. I'm gonna pull about an hour and a half here. Do.
Damn.
What happened?
But since I can't play Sheep better because it's not. It's uh something wrong. No, nothing that I need to play.
Appetite. And the tip now, but turn this to. Oh, there's a section for news and politics. Save as. What's going on, guys? Back for another late night. Dudes are talking about attack at Iran. It's crazy.
Right?
Yep. Oh, let me go to this move right here. Let me see. It's bullshit.
Wait, what's that same news I heard when it said the US ships and shit is US Navy ships are shooting down the running counter the Houthis, the
Houthis.
terrorist groups in Iran.
The Houthis. And they
Houthis, yes.
and they always call people terrorists, but like they're just the Houthis. One man's terrorist is another man whatever.
Oh yes. All it takes is just a clash of ideas to call one of one terrorists for some type of thing. It just comes to the case of you're either conform to my ideals or die. That's pretty much.
Pretty much. Alright, so let me listen to this. This happened 6 hours ago. This is redacted.
Are we headed towards a global war? It sure seems that way. Over the past few months, American forces have been attacked hundreds of times. Why? Has anyone stopped to ask the question as to why?
Oh, wait, we got people in the chat already? Hey, Long Beach Joe Jets. Salutes and respects to Triforce in the chat. Yo, thanks, man. Super Sky Shaming, what up, y'all? Having a good night? Yes, we are. So he says, yo, Triforce, what are your thoughts about the economy and the state of the FGC? Are you talking about the economy and state of the FGC, or the economy of the world and separately the FGC? What do you mean by that?
I think he means the economy of the FGC.
Oh, the economy of the FGC. Let me see something. Give me a second. Put up my link. And post this in the chat. Economy of the FGC. So, before we get to the news, the FGC, the economy of the FGC has never improved because the tournament directors have their own. You see, you have to want to build something for the scene and not just yourself. If you're building something just for yourself, it's not going to work. And unfortunately, a lot of the tournament organizers, these guys are it's funny. They act like they want to work with each other, but in reality, they're not interested in working with each other. There's a lot of politics behind it, and you must be asking, well, what does that got to do with the economy? It has everything to do with the economy. The economy has an intrinsic value that's based off of the people. The people determine what. The people determine the value of the scene. Long Beach says, thank you for answering this. The economy of the FGC. Also, give me your opinion on the economy of the U.S. as well. Oh, yeah, I'll give you the economy on the U.S. That's for sure. I'll give you that one. Let me finish the FGC first. So, oh, crap. 1 second. I'm going to answer that in a second. That's... Oh, okay, cool. Also,
Hey, that late night switch of the lines. Old as fuck.
second. I'm texting someone. Back to this. Sorry about that. I was texting someone. So, the value of the FGC is based off the people in it. And the people in the FGC, they recognize its value based on the actual FGC itself. So it works hand in hand. Unfortunately, the FGC does not give a shit about the scene's growth. More outside of it, its profit. So the FGC has this capitalistic mindset, and you can't have a capitalistic mindset in a community. That works in a society. It does not work in a community. And this is what a lot of people don't understand. People need to understand that if they want the scene to grow and thrive and have value for outsider people to come in and invest, and that money stays into the community, the value has to be high enough for the suits on the outside to say, okay, I'll invest and we'll just collect our dividends on the side. But we need to keep this thing moving. Think about, like, okay, here's an example. The WWE started out as a backyard wrestling, right? And this was just a passion, much like the X Games skateboarders and stuff like this. This was like a passion that these guys just love. And they did it. They created the competition. They did all of that based on their love for the competition. Now, unfortunately, this is all about, and it's sad too, because it's not even good. It's not even a good product on some, like, what's that guy's name? Homelander shit. This is a bad product. For real, thanks. It is a bad product. The FGC has turned into a bad product. The FGC never franchised its teams and its players. The FGC never created a network that said, okay, we have Team Mad Cats, we have Empire Arcadia, we have DMG, we have AGE, Team Fanatic. They never took these teams and said, let us go to the sports agency and committee of the blah 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 whatever or go to any of these actual publishing companies who make the games and say, we have these teams, we're trying to create an association for esports for these for your games to keep your brand and blah blah blah, and we want to make sure that we can be able to supply these teams, sponsor these teams with the money to play within our league, in which we want you to come in, and etc etc. They could have done so many things. They didn't do any of that because they didn't give a shit about any of that. What they saw was, yo, this shit look like we can make some money here, and I can go out to Red Lobsters, and this is a bunch of fuck shit. So they didn't care about building up the but where am I lying? Where am I lying in any of what I just said? So they didn't give a shit about any of that. All these guys they were all venture capitalists, terrible ones at that. They just want to come in, balloon up, and then and when it pops, they get the dipping. Don't give a shit about anything else after that. So the economy for the FGC never improved. It has always remained stagnant. So the shit Fnatic said the other night is exactly what it is. It's the real. It is what it is. That's what Fnatic ain't telling no lies. All of these new jacks coming in here talking all of this shit. These guys are bums. They straight bums. These guys are not doing anything. All they want to do. This shit has become a social media thing for them. It's about trying to make a name for yourself by tearing down other people who've been here before you, who laid the bricks for the scene for you to even be talking shit in. Ain't that some shit? And the position of the FGC is literally the most floundering esports that there is. It's the most exciting, but it's the most floundering of sports, and it makes sense because it follows its lineage in fighting. Like the most exciting sport in the world is boxing, MMA, Muay Thai, anything that's of violence. But for some reason, guess what? It has the least money output. It has the least money that come in. What did Fnatic say? Fnatic, we watched it on yesterday's stream. Let me get it for you. Where did I get it? I'll just put the link in the chat and you can go watch it. Cause it's a 6-minute rant. I don't want to have to go through that rant again. We had a whole stream on it yesterday. But yeah, that's the link right there. Where's your team?
The cup is dirty. I feel like I did you the soup.
This cup?
No, the cup of tea, the white cup.
Oh. Also, for those who are joining in on the chat, tomorrow I have a meeting, right? For the Valkyries, I'm trying to get a TV slot for the Valkyries for just made it. For a feature for Black History Month featuring the Valkyries. Anybody wants to support us? I got to get there tomorrow. So I need some taxi fare. Anybody can support us. You can check the pinned comment. There's a link there. You can drop us a donation. Trying to get this taxi fare to head over there. It's going to be in the afternoon, so be sure to support your boy. But yeah, these guys never really put in any, they never put in any real effort to support the scene. They put in just enough to support themselves and average growth of the scene. I'm not gonna sit here and say they didn't do anything. So that's not true. They did their thing, but in look at the grand scheme of things. Look in hindsight. Like, come on, man. You're going to tell me they couldn't have done more? Definitely could have done more. But why do more when you could just do the bare minimum? Fnatic was arguing with these guys about them turning their back on Artaro and how much Artaro put into the scene. He's put in, he lowballed him. He said he put in close to $1 million. I'm like, Artaro put in more than close to $1 million. He put in at least $1 million. The man's been at that shit for like, him and Spooky's been at that shit for like 10 years. And you know how I know Ataro put in more than $1 million? Because I put in over $1 million. I put in way over $1 million. So if I put in $1 million, no way you can sit there and say Atari ain't put in no million. You definitely put in $1 million. A lot of these guys, they never. I track the money. I actually keep the stats of a lot of things. The amount of money Empire Arcadia spent, which is why I had to leave Babylon and come over here, because I can't maintain the empire in Babylon. Babylon's too expensive, bro. Way too expensive. No, what's up, Aaron? What? What? I'm using the camera. The camera's on me. What's the problem? Huh? Oh. So yeah, Babylon is way too expensive for me. So after I lost my house, my fourth house, after I lost my wife or my ex-wife, I was like, nah, man. It's either I stay in Babylon and die in the freezing cold, because I didn't have any family that could help me out. Everybody, you know how black people are. Everybody's struggling for themselves or whatever. And so it's like, shit. Even when I came down to Jamaica, my uncle told me don't bring my American problems to him. So I learned real fast, like, why people do what they got to do. And man, everybody's off for Delph, and I really had to get out of that. I had to get out of that type of that environment. I needed to go to an environment that was more Afrocentric, where the village helps the village. Well, the village helps raise the child. The greatest resource in the world is the human being, specifically the black human being, specifically. That's the greatest resource in the world. So when I came to Jamaica, I looked at everything that the Knights did for the Empire, and that's why when you look at the thumbnail for on the stream now, it says Age of the Valkyries. What the Valkyries are doing for the Empire is like 200 times what the Knights have done for the Empire, and that's crazy. And the Knights been out there bodying niggas in competition. The problem here is this. Right, and this is the major problem. Like, this is what I was trying to do with the Valkyries in the fighting game community, but the fighting game community is not about it. In fact, a lot of the esports aspect of all of esports is not about it. Dudes don't want to give girls their due in the scene. Every sport has cheerleaders, sexy ass girls as forms of entertainment for whatever. But we in this bullshit ass woke society, fuck shit nonsense about, oh man, you're exploiting. Shut the fuck up. Don't talk to me about exploiting women and fucking shit. Women know they look sexy. You got girls now twerking for likes on Instagram. Shit, talk about exploitation. Like, nigga, come on. Like, cut the shit out, man. It is what it is. Everybody has them. Football has them. Basketball has them. Hockey has them. Baseball has them. Everybody has them. That's just the way the industry is, right? Guys like sexy girls. Sexy girls know that they get paid for being sexy. Beauty is the economy of a female, but in the gaming scene, nobody wants to pay the girls to cosplay. And why? I'm like, League of Legends got it right. When League of Legends have their tournaments, they have a halftime show, and you have KDA coming on the stage performing. You have girls coming cosplaying as their favorite League of Legends character and entertaining the crowd while they're setting up the intermission for the grand finals or whatever. Why doesn't the fighting game community do that? I don't ever get this shit. Like, and I've been telling them long time. That's why in Evo 2008, when we brought down the Valkyries, had an entire booth for the Valkyries. Then when we went to VXG, we was like, yo, let's get the girls involved, bro. We got to get the girls involved. Man, this shit is not corny, man. They never used simping back then, but they used something relative. Y'all just sweating the girls. So, like, what's the problem? Well, you don't like girls? Alien ass niggas. This is what it is. Because the gay guys like the girls, but like these straight dudes don't. Shit is mad suspect. This shit is mad homodelic. This shit is demonic, bro. Because I don't understand how a man does not like girls. Gay people like girls, trans like girls, but you have straight dudes complaining, man, you know what I hate? What? These fucking big titty bitches coming on the street. Nigga, you complaining about girls having big titties? What? Different generation, bro. Different generation. But these are the straight dudes. That's how you know the world is ending. Because these are the straight dudes complaining. There was a stream. No, it wasn't a stream. That's a lie. It was a video on Real Waifu Hours. Oh, the Real Waifu Hours is a stream. Remember that white kid, honey, when the vein was bursting through his head, when he was like, Twitch is for gamers, and these fucking big titty bitches are coming there. And he had the big ass vein in his head. I'm like, that nigga has not had pussy since his mother birthed that nigga. That's crazy. He was getting tight because girls are coming on Twitch playing games looking sexy. I was like, I fail to see the problem here. Yikes.
Are you fucking serious?
See, Long Beach. You saw you say no, can't do that in the FTC. Well, I came down to Jamaica, and I expanded the Valkyrie brand in Jamaica, and they do it. In fact, bro, I got you right now. Actually, what am I doing? Let me run something for you. 5 minutes. I need 5 minutes of your time, my brother. Right, 5 minutes of your time, my brother. Hold on, YouTube and okay, so there we go. Oh, good. I don't even have to change the screen. We go. So I'm gonna let you watch this for a second. Oh, you're gonna need to hear it. Is it loud enough? Hopefully it's loud enough. Let me go to max screen. Just watch this. So this is an event the Valkyries went to play Just Dance. They have an own brand called Just Dance Along with the Valkyries. They were at a K-pop event, and they got people from the crowd. This was an intermission break before they went into a different contest, and they're gonna play Just Dance. And instead of them watching the game and following the game, the girls follow the game, and then the audience follow the girls. Let's just watch. But these guys in the esports scene are homodelics, so they don't like this. I don't get it. Suspects. Oh, I'm the guy with the camera, by the way. Hold on for a second. Let me go back a little bit. I want to pause something. Now this is in Jamaica, third world country with no money, and the fighting game communities in America, they got all that money from Joe Biden. They can't do something simple like this. Just saying. If you look to the left of if you look to the right of the screen, that right here, that's the Valkyries booth on the right of the screen. So we had a booth there. The Valkyries sell their own photo cards, posters, t-shirts, and everything. And you got a bunch of girls doing this in gaming. That's why I said dudes in gaming suck dick. Like niggas is ass. I would keep it a billion with you. If I had the right money or the right investors, I'd fuck the FGC up. Them niggas is whack. Them niggas is homodelic. Them niggas is trash. The whole scene is a piece of shit. They got their shit. The suits came in, bend them the fuck over the table, fucked them in their ass, took their own games back. Out of the 20 fucking years that niggas put in, and now the niggas is dog shit. Niggas got Pokemon come buying up their scene. Dumbass niggas. Anyway, let's continue.
It's funny you say that.
Hold on, I know. We're gonna finish this up. 1 second. Months.
Super Sky Shaman donated $10. Here's my Arcadia cat.
No, that's an Arcadia tax. Thank you, Sky. I appreciate that, man. You're a month. Oh. That's a big help for tomorrow. Yo, months. It's kind of funny. So if you look here, these are all the performances that these girls do in Just Dance. And if you look behind them, you see the big ass TV screen where you can see the actual game. This is when they were at first of all, let me go check the chat, see what you guys are saying. Oh, big shout out to Super Sky Shaman for that donation. I appreciate it. We can hear it. It's loud. Oh, good. And who is this? Maybe if the dances weren't so zesty. What do you mean if the dances weren't so zesty? What the fuck? Who gives a fuck if the dances are zesty? What the fuck? Bro, what the fuck are you talking about? This wouldn't happen in the US FGC final event. Yep. Pokimane literally buying things up because she's smart. The guys are stupid. That type of stuff is for family-friendly events, not happening at the FGC. Nigga, there is nothing family-friendly about the FGC. The fuck are you talking about?
Boy,
wait a minute. Hold on. Am I misunderstanding what you're saying, Zoo? Like, maybe I'm misunderstanding what you're saying, because maybe I'm reading it wrong. Hold on. That type of stuff is for family-friendly events, not happening in the FGC. You mean what the girls are doing here in the video? Maybe I'm reading what he's saying wrong. In the US, of course. And then Sky says, no problem, my guy. Gonna hit the sack now. Got work in the morning. Oh, okay, cool. I later, Super. Thank you. And then Zeus says, yes. Oh, no. Even on that point, I still... What the hell is that now? Oh, okay, I know that is. Nah, even on that point, what they are doing in the video. Nah, bro. Cause the Empire has already done that. That shit is old. I'm recycling old shit 20 years ago from the Empire. The Valkyries have been doing that since Magfest. That was like 2003, 4, and 5. That all that shit can be done at the FGC. The FGC, we're in Jamaica. And if you take a taxi in Jamaica, taking a bus ride home in a taxi in Jamaica, they have Vibes Cartel running in the actual car. All he's talking about is juking up some girls back and blowing out her back, and niggas is feeding girls semen, and all the kids know the songs. So we don't live in that age anymore of censoring kids from sex and all that other shit. The censoring age is done, bro. All that shit is done. Everybody knows. Everybody sucking dick. Everybody fucking pussy. The kids know already. So we can't even use that anymore. We don't live in a family-friendly age. There's no such thing in this day and age. That doesn't exist. You have podcasts now where NBA players could never be on a podcast before, ever cursing. Now you got LeBron James in the barbershop, and when they're in the barbershop talking, guess what LeBron James is talking about? What? I dunked on that motherfucking nigga. I'm like, what? And nobody gets fined. We're not in that age anymore, bro. Dudes can do this. Dudes do this in the League of Legends scene, and the League of Legends scene has the same rape rate as the FGC, has the same rape rate as the RTS games, has the same rape rate as any scene there is in any sports. Niggas is always there doing some fucked up shit, drinking liquor, doing drugs, raping girls, blah blah blah. That's in every scene, sports, businesses, everything in the world. The world is literally Babylon. That is the entire world, and everything you do, that is the reality. So kids are born into this shit now, and it's normal. And it's normal. When you got drag queens twerking in kindergarten class because they want to teach them about the inclusion of pronouns and blah, bro, world's done, bro. So this can be done at the FGC. This can be done at the FGC. To give you guys kind of context of what these girls are doing here in Jamaica versus what's being done in America, let me put y'all onto this. Let me run this one part for y'all real quick. I'm gonna run that for y'all. Then we continue our conversation. It's the last video too. This is a TV station in Jamaica called The Release. It's think of it like your entertainment shows that you would have in America.
Valkyries and the Rock collaborates Eastern Extravaganza, Elite Weekend Media Launch, this and so much more. Hi, you're watching The Release, the Caribbean Style Lifestyle and Entertainment magazine. Remember to follow us on all socials at The Release JA for these and other amazing content. I'm your host Jamar. Now let's jump into our new releases.
This is Empress Nile from the Valkyries of Arcadia. We're at the lot and you're watching The Release. I am Empress Nile. I'm the manager and director of the Valkyries of Arcadia, which is a all-girl gaming group that focuses on pop entertainment. The gaming industry itself is a global billion-dollar industry. The only reason why it's not as big here in Jamaica is because not many people know about it. So that's why we do events such as these to get the Jamaican public informed, get them introduced to it, and maybe over time the Jamaican public gets their foot wet in the gaming industry. So for a simpler version of how the game is played, it's like Simon says, because it is a person on the screen or persons on the screen doing a routine. Your job is to copy that person as best as you can and get the highest point and eventually win. It's updated yearly with fresh songs, fresh dance moves, so you never get bored. We're always into entertainment, anywhere that's open to social engagement and entertainment overall. The lot is pretty much perfect because, fun fact, we met the owner of the lot while I was doing my cosplay photo shoot. So he showed us, he had a venue and he brought us here. And from then we planned, and that's how this came about.
Hi, I'm Craig Pangson, the founder of The Lot, and The Lot is an entertainment venue that is art-based,
And we have 3 restaurants, a bar, and an art gallery here. It's by coincidence I saw them at another event downtown at Kingston Creative Artwork. And I support, and we believe in supporting the arts. But anything that's art-based, we support. And I think it's a great artistic endeavor. And I think that it's also worldwide. And the fact that Jamaicans are taking part in it is a great thing. That guy should kill himself. Oh man, that was messed up. Why did they do that to that guy? Why did they do that to that guy, sir? One second, guys. I'm trying to win this game. No, it's not gonna win. All right, let's get off of this. Let me get back to the chat. Sorry about that. All right, so here we are. We're back in the chat. What they are doing in the video? What he do? He snaked y'all. What are you talking about? What? Who did in the video? Who snaked who? What? His teeth get cold. Niall? What do you mean he snaked us?
What he's talking about?
He said, yeah, he says what they are doing in the video, which was explained in the video. Pass me that word back for a second. Oh, wait for a second. Oh, because you said that the guy should kill himself. No. There was a guy who was playing the dart game. So the girl threw the dart and it went into the thing and then he threw it and it just bounced off and missed. That was like a sad way to lose on television. So that's why I say he should kill himself. But so the point I'm making is if you take a look at what the Valkyries are doing here in Jamaica, it's a damn shame. You know why? Because that's not even being done in America. And why? Like America has way more money, and like these are like third world country girls and shit. And like we finance. You know how we finance this? We finance this. We finance this with the donations you guys give us. It's not a lot of money. It doesn't take a lot of money to do that. Oh, and that's another thing. Going back to the original question about the fighting game, the FGC's economy. The FGC economy started off hyperinflated. That's one of the biggest problems with the FGC. It's been hyperinflating its money since the beginning of the FGC. And that hyperinflation has hurt the FGC for the longest. And that's me keeping it $1 billion. FGC really never they charge too much. They justify it by saying, well, it costs us too much or whatever the case may be. And I'm like, I understand, but like if you want more people to come in, you gotta put down that original seed money. You gotta put down that original capital and take the hit in the beginning. If you believe in it, but that's another thing. Nobody believes in the FGC. Nobody believes in the esports. Everyone's here is just but they're just here to collect that check, bro. And the minute they no longer can collect that check, they dip. They ain't here for the long term. I know a lot of people like, oh man, whatever happened to Empire Arcadia? And I'm like, we expanded to other countries, Africa and the Caribbean. We're going to Barbados later on this year. We have a handful of our knights still in the States playing, from Sinji to West, Jerron, Sanford just retired, KDZ, and a few others. They're good for that. We don't need to win anymore. The Empire doesn't need to win anymore. The Empire needs to make money now. We already put in our time on the battlefield. We're the #1 winning gaming team in the world, certified by Guinness. We don't give a shit about winning. What we give a shit about is the expansion, dude. The expansion of the Empire. And we realize in order to do that, we can't trap ourselves in just what? We can't trap ourselves in just playing competitive games. We got to get into other aspects of gaming. Social gaming. As the late great Nelson remix from EMP said, sports, electronic sports entertainment. It's not just sports, bro. We have to also add the entertaining aspect of it. And entertainment is so vast. And to leave the FGC to just be sitting down on just one aspect of the industry, that's a losing proposition, man. And that's why nobody wants to invest in it. Nobody has a foresight. No one no longer has the foresight to be able to sell the FGC. I do, but you know that they damn sure ain't letting no black man. Yes, it's all about race. They're damn sure not letting no black man sell this shit over them. If they find out that they can make some money, they don't mind jumping in. But like, you getting credit as a black, the fuck out of it. The fuck out of here. Is that how they're telling say, you fucking moody, get the fuck out of here. Who the fuck is this moody? Somebody get this fucking moody out of here. The fuck out of here. And once I seen that, I was like, man, then fuck all this shit. I'll go. Uh-huh. I just go to another country. So. Mm-hmm.
Oh shit!
What?
The airboy took the bathroom.
Okay. My wife is so silly.
Got the deal.
My wife is on crack, guys. Ignore her. So now let's talk about the world economy.
Why? Why are they there in the first place? And over the last few days, of course, 3 American soldiers were killed in the country of Jordan. Here are those 3 soldiers. Let's put them up here on the screen. Remember their names?
All of them are black. All of them are black. All 3 soldiers killed in Jordan are black.
Wow. What? What's a surprise?
What a surprise. They ain't retaliating. Nobody ain't gonna retaliate, and thank God he's not gonna retaliate. He'll start a regional war which will end up into World War III. So 2 black women and a black man will all their lives are sacrificed to keep the world safe for 24 more hours. Crazy out here, boy. For 24 more hours. Hold on. What did you say? Did you hear the passport bros are dying? We had a whole stream about that yesterday. Yo, you need to go check yesterday's stream, bro. We talked about passport bros, Power World, Fanatic, a whole bunch of stuff. And these passport bros that are getting murked, they're stupid. They're doing it wrong. They're idiots.
With their faces, this is Sergeant William Jerome Rivers, 46 years old. Specialist Kennedy
Wow, he's my
Sanders,
age.
24 years old. Specialist Brianna Alexander Moffat, 23 years old. Why? Why were they killed? So immediately the U.S. government bent over backwards to blame Iran for these attacks. Iran vehemently denies any involvement in these attacks, and even the U.S. Pentagon, when pressed on this, on the specifics of it, was forced to admit that they have no proof Iran was involved at all. Watch.
Oh, Iran behind it. What does that mean? If you see evidence of financing or directing, anything specific to this attack, not just generally, but specific.
So maybe I need to clarify further from what Lita had mentioned. We know that Iran funds these groups, like Qatar Hezbollah.
Stripes.
We know that these IRGC-backed militias are the ones responsible for attacks on our troops in Iraq and Syria. Beyond that, we're doing an intelligence assessment. We don't have. I can't give you today that. We just know that Iran funds these groups, like Qatar Hezbollah and other groups that have attacked our forces. But I don't have more to share. As a general.
Let's bring in Colonel Douglas McGregor. Colonel, I just want to first
Colonel.
get your response, your reaction to what's been happening over the past few hours. The Pentagon admitting, well, we have no proof that Iran was tied to this specific incident, but, you know, they've got a history, so of course they're probably related to it. Therefore, we need to launch and hit them hard. The president, we don't want to get out in front of what the president is going to do. The president clearly is going to attack Iran in some capacity. We just don't know what it will be. Iran saying we have no involvement. So just give me your reaction, first of all, to that back and forth.
Well, facts have never really mattered. If Washington wants to do something, they're going to do it. And we need to keep in mind that certainly over the last 20 years, there's been a concerted effort to bring on war with Iran. This is nothing new. Now, Iran has been depicted as evil incarnate, as responsible for everything that's bad in the region. And since it is viewed as Israel's not only but principal opponent, Israel's agents in the United States, the lobby, have pressed very, very hard for a very long time. Your viewers will recall that enormous amounts of money were poured into the Trump campaign in 2016 by very wealthy figures like Adelson. He had, I think at the time, supposedly dual citizenship, Israeli and American. And he was desperate for a war with Iran. That's one of the reasons that Bolton was assigned to the White House National Security Council. He was the NSA. So this is nothing new. Now, what is new is that now we have Biden dealing with the facts. And the facts are that Iran was not involved. And we've heard this sort of thing before. Remember, the initial response was that what Hamas did was on orders from Tehran. Well, there's no evidence for that either. And these are Arab organizations. The people dying in Gaza are Arabs. They're not Iranians. And there is a tremendous difference between what we call Iran or Persia and the Arab states. That doesn't mean that the Iranians are disinterested in what happens to the Arabs there. But they have gone out of their way now for years to avoid provoking us. They could have done so in many, many different ways, but they haven't done it. You'll recall there was an attempt to punish us for the Soleimani assassination, but when the missiles were ultimately launched, all of them mysteriously missed their targets. And we were informed before the missiles were launched that they were being launched. This is very simple. The Iranians didn't want to kill anyone. And we know from just 2 weeks ago, when they do launch missiles and they decide to target you, they hit you. They struck with great precision and violence targets in Syria and Iraq just recently. You know, they killed the Mossad agent who was a Kurd and his family in his house, a very short distance from the American embassy. And everyone was shocked. Well, there was no damage to the American embassy. That's because their missile technology is superb and precise, and the warheads are devastating. So the point is, no, if Iran wanted to do something, they'd have done it. What we really think happened, increasingly, is that the target was our base at Al-Tanf. which is very large, and it's been there for a long time, to interdict anything going to Syria from Iran. In other words, via the Shiite Arab areas of Iraq. Well, that appears to be the target, but what happens is that this device, whether it's a missile, a tactical ballistic missile, a cruise missile, certainly something larger than a so-called drone, because drones don't carry warheads that wound 35 people and kill them. It just doesn't work that way. It was an accident. In other words, they missed their target. Well, that tells me that these are Shiite Arabs, militias. Why? Because they don't have the most modern technology that Iran has. So you're watching Arabs in Yemen, Arabs in South Lebanon, Arabs in Iraq, Arabs everywhere, to the extent that they can, striking at the Israelis because of Gaza. That's all. That's what this is about. And we're trying to turn it into something else and create a casus belli for a war with Iran. Gosh, that's been happening repeatedly. The only thing that stopped it the last time in 2019 was that Donald Trump said no. He was ambushed. He was ambushed by the CENTCOM commander, by Pompeo in the State Department, and Bolton, who was a national security advisor, presented with a fait accompli. They already had the strike packages identified and set up. This is our big moment. We're going to attack Iran. And Donald Trump said no. He said, first of all, they shot down an unmanned aerial vehicle, in other words, a Global Hawk, and that was riding right along the edge of the air defense identification zone, we call the ADIZ. And under international law, if you put a military ISR aircraft right along the edge of the ADIZ, we have an ADIZ, everybody does. Everybody has an air identification zone. Then, under the international law, the country that is under surveillance has the right to shoot it down, unless you've informed that country that you are not a threat. But we didn't do that. It was a setup. That people knew that the Iranians would shoot this down, which they had every right to do. And then Donald Trump said, well, how many people are we going to kill as a result of this strike? And they said, well, it could be 500, could be 800. Of course, he said, well, they didn't kill any Americans. This was unmanned. And finally, the key question was, well, what happens after the strike? Well, you get a war with Iran. And, he said, well, I'm not sure we want that. That's not a good idea. So he avoided the apocalypse, okay, as far as Iran is concerned and we're concerned. Well, now we have this man, Biden. He's an altogether different personality. And I think in his own deranged mind, he is playing field marshal. And he's got everybody presenting him with all these options. And you have this chorus of people on the Hill. You have enormous numbers of wealthy, powerful donors. They're calling the White House, this is our moment. You must strike Iran. Well, if you do, you're going to get a major war. And that's not going to stop anytime soon. But their argument is, oh no, if you fly B-52s over and do real damage, that will deter Iran. Well, if you believe that, I've got lots of swampland in Florida for you. I'll be happy to sell you, because that's absurd. We're not going to deter anything.
Right, that's the question. What are we going to deter? If Iran is not involved in it, they're not responsible for it, then how are we going to deter Iran if they're not responsible for it? The logic doesn't make any sense. And meanwhile, this back and forth, there are American service members being killed here. Now, it's very interesting. You have these 3 service members who were killed, and it was asked President Biden, well, is the president going to speak to the families of these service members killed? And that's what I kind of want to bring it back to, is these are Americans who are all throughout this region at these outposts and these bases, in many of these spots illegally. And there's been really no discussion about that part of it at all. And the framing of it is, how can we protect our American forces? How can we protect our American forces over there? To my mind, it's, well, you bring them home.
Exactly.
You don't have them there. You don't have them in these illegal outposts. Well, sitting there as cannon fodder, and the Biden administration has admitted, even in a New York Times article just a few days ago, admitting that it's only a matter of time before they're attacked, before they're killed, before they're attacked. So they're sitting ducks, they're being used as cannon fodder here.
Well, they've been magnets for attack for a long time. Since the 7th of October, when Israel began its operations in Gaza. And it didn't happen immediately after 7th of October. It really ramped up after many days had passed, because that's when people realized the Israeli campaign is not a vengeance campaign. It's not simply designed to, quote-unquote, restore deterrence, in other words, scare everyone that Israel will come and kill them. It was a campaign designed to expel or kill the population in Gaza. When that sank in, then these attacks began ramping up again by Arab formations that were in solidarity with their brothers in Gaza, in Hamas, and with the population there. Not even so much with Hamas, but with the Arab population. So I think the bottom line is this. First of all, the target was an accident. The target was Al-Taf, which is in Syria. They struck this tower, which is a very short distance from the Jordanian border with Syria. We are legally in Jordan. Jordan has given us permission to be there for a variety of different reasons, not the least of which is logistics. We can sustain and supply forces in Iraq and Syria from Jordan. Jordan is a convenient place for us to stay and avoid being involved in fighting. But the problem is that, now it's been an accident. They struck these things, and people are presenting this as an Iranian plot, an Iranian strategy. I think this is very much like the Gulf of Tonkin. Remember, the Gulf of Tonkin incident really had never occurred. And the fight that we had, finally, was not what people thought it was. Americans were not killed in great numbers. Nothing was sunk. But we eventually ended up sinking North Vietnamese boats. Well, everyone wanted to go to war in Vietnam. There was no stated objective. The mission was unclear. Nobody figured it out for the entire period that we were there. Well, what is the mission for our forces on the ground in Iraq and Afghanistan? And when I asked that question in the Pentagon, when I was just a senior advisor, I said, what are we doing there? What's the mission? Tell me why we're there. Ultimately, nobody could give me a good reason. But the principal reason for us being there, I was told, was for Israel. And I said, well, what are we doing for Israel? And they said, well, we're early warning for Israel. I said, well, that's ridiculous because the Israelis know more about what's happening in these countries than we do. They're much better informed. Their intelligence in those areas is better. Well, ultimately, it turns out, in retrospect, we helped hold this small oil facility that belongs to Conoco up in the northeast corner of Syria. And we're pumping the oil out there, and I guess we're selling it to the Turks who then turn around for a profit and sell it to the Israelis.
All about money.
The Israelis are getting the oil that they need, surreptitiously via the Turks. By the way, the Turkish population has found this out and is angry as hell because they're violently anti-Israeli. If Erdogan declared war tomorrow morning on Israel, millions of Turks would gleefully march towards Israel to throw them out once and for all. So
Erdogan!
The point is, we don't need to be there. We just need to get out. Our forces on the ground are just targets for no particular reason. By the way, that happened to us in Iraq after we'd been there long enough. We were just targets. We were part of a target array. We were convenient. No one wants to admit that if you get us out, the locals will forget about you because you're not really the target. The only reason we are a target right now is because of our unconditional support for Israel. Now remember that the Iraqi government has already asked us to leave. They subsequently told us to leave now, very no uncertain terms. You hear all this disinformation to the New York Times, Wall Street Journal, Washington Post. Well, that's not really what they want us to do. They really want us to stay. That's nonsense. Everybody in the region wants us out. So instead of getting out, which makes sense, and eliminating this tragic possibility, and these people were killed pointlessly in my judgment, 35 were wounded pointlessly, we're going to let them stay there. And I think we're going to let them stay there because we don't want to admit that there was no purpose to it. Just as we kept a lot of troops in Iraq because we don't want to admit that we lost. Iraq was a strategic failure. Syria is a strategic failure. Afghanistan is a strategic failure. Nobody wants to admit it. Washington never admits those things. So you're maintaining facades. It's tragic. That's what it is.
And for the benefit of Israel, like yesterday, they hear on our show from 2002 congressional testimony of Benjamin Netanyahu being asked by the United States Congress, about what their intentions are, what they want. Of course, Netanyahu wanted the United States to preemptively attack Iraq, take out Saddam Hussein. We did his bidding for him. He also said, by the way, Libya. So we did the bidding for there as well. We took out Muammar Gaddafi in Libya. And then, of course, the third on his list, the most important, is Iran, of course, as you mentioned. So 20 years of asking to have us, the United States, actively attack Iran, looking through all manner of false flag attacks, whatever you want. They've thrown the kitchen sink at this to try to make this happen. Do you think the Biden administration, the neocons in Washington, the war machine in Washington is just going to turn around, do an about face, and walk away from this plan to attack and to wipe
Hell no.
Iran off the map, to use Lindsey Graham's assessment? Or are we going to have a war with Iran at some capacity?
Well, I was asked that several times last year. Tucker asked me that, I think it was October, November last year, and I said we're on the path to war with Iran. I think we are. And sadly, I think we will do this. Remember that you have a third of the American electorate that is what I call the bombs away club. If you say we're bombing country X, they'll all cheer. They don't even know what's going on in country X, but they think our greatness as a nation is served by bombing. It's not, but that's what they think. And remember that Iran is not Iraq. And this is another huge problem. And finally, the Israelis, the thinking ones, and there are many good, solid thinking people at the top of the Israeli Defense Force. Privately, they know we made a mess of the region. It was expected that we would make the region safe for Israel. We didn't. It's been less safe from the moment we entered Iraq. We destabilized, which is what all the Arab leaders told us we would do. Everyone warned us. Even Erdogan warned us, don't go in and make this matter worse. Don't destabilize it. Stay out. But we went in. So I would argue that over the last 20 years, we've made it more dangerous for Israel than it's ever been. Now we're talking about attacking Iran. Iran is a major military power. These are not hapless people with sandals, bed sheets, and AK-47s and RPGs and a few command detonate mines. They have real military capability. They have a very sophisticated group of Iranians running the military establishment. They're very good at cyber warfare. They have excellent intelligence. They have brilliant missile technology. I mean, I've sat and listened to the Israelis who've given me very good briefings on this very topic. But the solution to that problem is not to poke it. If you poke it, it will launch. And they will launch and they can attack all the key positions that we have in the region. Remember, we have roughly 57,000 people on the ground in the region. You know, Qatar, Kuwait, Iraq, Syria. I mean, we can just go down the list. All of those positions can be targeted and with great position attack. Our air defenses are not very good. They simply aren't. They haven't worked well. Our air defenses that we built for the Saudis could not stop Houthi drones, let alone cruise missiles. So who are we kidding ourselves? If we do this, they're going to attack. They'll hit all those installations. Now, somebody said, well, will they attack Israel? I said, I think that depends on what the Israelis do. If the Israelis say, aha, brilliant opportunity, let's launch in support of this American attack, which we strongly support, then I think they'll launch whatever they've got into Israel. They have enough to basically level Tel Aviv and Haifa. These are long-range missiles, 1,200-mile range, with devastating 2,000-pound warheads. They're conventional. They'll do enormous damage. I call them blockbusters. They'll level city blocks. I don't see anybody benefiting from this. This has been my problem with everything the Israelis have done from day one. I understand what they want. I understand exactly how they feel. There's too much emoting. There's not enough thinking.
Well, the military-industrial complex will make a lot of money off of this. Well, we don't have strong air defenses in these regions, so we really need to spend another $200 billion to shore up our air defenses in the Middle East to protect our American forces, our 57,000 forces that are in this region. So that's what will happen with Warhawks in Washington.
You can't lose sight of something very Clayton, that no one brings up. If we get involved in the Middle East this way, we're going to have at least a two-front war, maybe a three-front war. Obviously, the Russians are not going to watch Iran go up. They will prevent that. They will supply and assist and advise. If push comes to shove, they'll join. But they won't try to join. They'll try to stand in the background and provide the Iranians everything they need. The Chinese will do the same. If the Russians get involved, the Chinese may ultimately get involved because they're desperately dependent upon the oil and gas that comes out of the Persian Gulf. They're not the only ones. If the Straits of Hormuz are closed, if the Gate of Tears is closed in the Suez Canal, it's going to be hell to pay economically at home and all over the world. So eventually everybody will get involved and we'll be standing next to Israel, hated, despised, and under attack from everyone. But there's another front we're missing.
The Arab.
There's a substantial Hezbollah presence in Mexico.
Yikes!
There has been for a long time. You also have ISIS chapters, if you will, operating in Mexico. They have reasonably good relations with the cartels. I imagine that out of the 9 million people that have been allowed to enter our country, there are probably several thousand people connected, primarily to Hezbollah and secondly to these ISIS chapters. I would expect real trouble inside the country. I would even expect the possibility that some of these serious weapons that may be in the hands now of the cartels end up being launched by these Hezbollah and ISIS people against us. We don't know. But I would bet on the worst case. And what have we done about the border? Nothing. And there won't be anything done by the border because nobody in Washington wants to do anything. There are very few people there that give a damn. The people that care are out there in the United States because they're the ones that are the victims of this whole policy of destruction. So this is bigger than the Middle East. This will come and visit us in the United States. We have stupid people that think we can bomb with impunity and nothing will happen to us. They are wrong.
I hope our audience is paying attention. And I hope you, and even watching right now, please share this video with people. You know, if we have 30% of the population that is in the bombs away club in the United States that think it's okay to go into destabilized regions and bomb the hell out of people, please share this video with those individuals and listen to what the Colonel is just saying here in front of you all. Colonel, great to see you as always. Thank you for your amazing insights in this.
Two guys I listen to all the time on Redacted and other shows, Colonel Douglas McGregor and former UN's weapons inspector Scott Ritter. Those are the two realest motherfuckers in the world when it comes to the what's actually going on in the world. That's why when I say you guys watch, if you're watching CNN and American news, you don't know what's going on. You know what they're telling you. These guys keep it real and let you know the shit that the United States is doing. Some dirty shit in the background, bro. And they're keeping it $1 billion. 1 billion. Oh man, America's in trouble. Our only hope is Donald Trump gets into office fast enough to de-escalate the situation. Because this nigga Biden, that nigga gonna destroy America. In fact, they're in a race to try to destroy America before Trump can win the elections and get into office. They really, them niggas is running at top speed without bending their knees to get to this war. In the event, I want to watch one more piece of news. Let's go to Scott Ritter. We just heard from Douglas McGregor. Let's see what Scott has to say, and then I'll call it for the night. We gotta get some sleep because I gotta get out to this meeting tomorrow. After the girls do their Just Dance, I'll have another stream. I'll give you guys the updates. What's going on with the Valkyries, all that stuff. So, yeah. But where's Scott? Scott motherfucking. Actually, let me just type his name. Scott Ritter. That's Scott Ritter latest. 13 hours ago. Woo! Okay, let's go.
Şu anda Kızıldeniz'i malum bunlar bir adeta kan gölüne çevirme hecesi içerisinde.
3 U.S. soldiers were killed. More than 30 were wounded.
I don't know. That's Colonel Douglas McGregor, Scott Ritter. How long? That's an hour and change, bro. I don't want. That's too long. 1 day ago. Nope. second, guys. I'm trying to find something that I haven't already watched. Let me see this one. Yes.
Turkey's organized into military districts or various armies, and the army that's in the Thracian area, Istanbul, European Turkey, the army that's in the Izmir area, I believe these are armies that are dedicated NATO forces. But the armies that operate to the east, especially the army that operates along the Syrian border, these are not dedicated NATO forces. So, Turkey is one of these nations where they have a significant, part of their armed forces which carry out non-NATO duties. And Turkey also is a nation that recognizes the reality of Russia, that unlike other European nations, Turkey knows that it's in their best interest to have good relations with Russia. This is why Turkey has active economic engagement. Russia just completed a nuclear power plant. But the other thing is that, Turkey, to give you an example, as a NATO member, they have a very difficult relationship with Greece. The United States has been hesitant to sell Turkey advanced fighter aircraft out of fear that Turkey would use these aircraft to attack Greece. And so there's been strained relations. This dates back to 1974, I believe, when Turkey invaded Cyprus, and the United States began sanctioning Turkey for that invasion. So we have sort of this love-hate relationship with Turkey, where they're a member of NATO, they buy American equipment, but we deny them full access to American equipment. We blocked Turkey from the F-35 program, even though they had invested a lot of money into that. They were prepared to produce part of the F-35 aircraft in Turkish aircraft factories. We've not been forthright in replacing the F-35 with an advanced F-16. We put a lot of strings on that. Turkey's bought the S-400 surface-to-air missile from Russia, which is one of Russia's most advanced air defense systems. And there's a lot of concern that, if Turkey has the F-35 and the S-400, that the S-400 radar will be able to learn a lot of things about F-35 operations, and that will expose the United States to vulnerabilities. So there's a lot of people hesitant about allowing Turkey to have both the F-35 and the S-400. So we're trying to we put pressure on Turkey, we sanction Turkey. As a result, Turkey has open relations. I went to the Defender of the Fatherland event at the Russian Embassy in Washington, D.C. last February. That's one where I famously or infamously hosted me doing a vodka toast with two Russian colonels. But at that event was the Turkish air attaché. And I sat there and had a very long discussion with him about the S-400, about the F-35, about Turkish relations with Russia. The Turkish officer and the Russian officer were on friendly terms. They, one's a NATO officer, the other one's a Russian, but they were doing what defense attachés are supposed to be doing, that is working together, trying to get a better understanding. There it is. I love this video. There are many people out there who hate this video, but I don't care. This is called building bridges, making friends. But I think I've touched on the subject long enough to...
I think Hassan should be happy by now, maybe even elated.
He should be. I did my best. I'm a little tired, and I'm starting to babble, so I'm going to cut it off.
No, you're doing great. Should we take a phone call from Blind Jim?
Sure.
Blind Jim, turn down your computer.
Hello?
All right, are you ready to...
Hello?
Yeah, are you ready to be reviloquent, Blind Jim?
Yeah, I am. Anyhow, Scott, could you tell us what the Russians, how they perceive Hamas and the current Israeli government?
Sure. I just had a conversation with a Russian official today, and Russia, of course, condemns Hamas' attack on October 7th, their attack on Israel. Russia views Hamas as a terrorist organization. Their actions on that day is terrorism, but Russia doesn't believe that gives Israel carte blanche to do anything they want in retaliation. And the Russian feeling now is that Israel is actually the bigger terrorist threat, that Israel's actions far exceed what Hamas did on October 7th. And so Russia not only condemns Israel, but labels Israel as a terroristic state, and is pushing for a two-state solution, the fulfillment of Palestinian people's desire to have their own homeland. So that, I think, captures the Russian position in a nutshell.
That was graviliquent, both on your part and Blind Gents.
Graviliquent.
Paul Spencer, who's near Portland, Oregon. Near. Chechnya is building 100 plus homes for Gazan refugees. There are over 1,000 of these folks there now. Could or should the Russian Federation invite Gazans to build a new country of sorts in some southern part of the RF, near Kazakhstan, for instance?
I mean, before Russia does that, I think people should ask the Palestinians if that's what they want. This is sort of modeled on, the early Zionist activities of the Jews who were looking at homelands. I think they were looking in Africa and Uganda for a homeland, and the idea was just anywhere you could get a homeland, you could get a homeland. But they chose the Holy Land because there's biblical links there. The Palestinians, why would they want to live anywhere but Palestine? That's their homeland. It's theirs. I don't think the Palestinians would agree to a false state, a fake state, a new state that doesn't have any historical relevance.
All right, our first internet outage. And we'll see if we can get Scott back. As I said before, we do have a plan. If
but I'm back.
Okay.
I don't think that I don't think the Palestinians would go for it. I commend Chechnya for its for what it's doing for Palestinian refugees, but I think the status will be refugee status, which means at some point in time these people will hopefully be returned to their homeland and able to build homes in Palestine.
All right, keep that phone number handy just in case, Scott. Jasmine from the great state of Michigan. I think that's where Blind Jim is also, right? You have previously said that the U.S. will always remain faithful to Israel because of the Israeli lobby. Ever since the genocide in Gaza started, you can see the opinions change, especially among the young generation. So you think the days of the Israeli lobby and Zionism are numbered?
I'd like to hope so. I'd like to believe so. And I would I want it to be that way. But the reality is, the Israeli money runs deep. The corruption of the American political system at the hands of the Zionists, of the Israelis, is real. They brag about it, openly brag about it. They're going to spend $100 million to influence the 2024 election. Imagine if Russia just came out and said, hey, we're going to spend $100 million to influence the American election. I think anybody would stand for that? Of course not. But Israel's bragging about it. They openly lobby Congress. They threaten congressional members with being primaried. Imagine again if Russia came in and said, hey, we don't support this, that, and the other thing. We're going to put money in the system and run somebody against you. Nobody would think that candidate would be legitimate. We'd say that's a Russian candidate. Well, guess what? Most of the candidates that run for Congress are Israeli candidates because they're bought and paid for by the state of Israel. And as long as that's the case, until you purge Congress of this Israeli taint, so to speak, I I think that the lobby's always going to have that power and the influence. I'd like to believe that we could find a way to limit it, but I'm not optimistic.
What do you make of South Africa going before the UN court accusing Israel of genocide?
I think it's wonderful. I'm glad South Africa had the moral courage and integrity to do so. There's no doubt in anybody's mind that Israel is a genocidal state. What they're doing against the Palestinians readily qualifies as genocide, and it's wonderful that South Africa has taken this case to court. The court is hearing the case. 84 pages of unequivocal truth, fact-based truth. In many cases, using the Israeli government's own words against them. You don't have to manufacture a case here. You don't have to use circumstantial evidence. The Israelis have brought out just Israeli officials have said it. As the soldiers say it. The commanders say it. It's genocide, and I'd like to believe the court will find Israel culpable in committing genocide against the Palestinians in Gaza.
All right, let's go on to our next question. This is from a witness in Canada. Did Bernie Sanders just grow a spine by putting forth a resolution to find out if U.S. weapons were misused or not? Or is it a frantic move to distance the U.S. from the coming genocide conviction of Israel for their massacre in Gaza? Bernie Sanders growing a spine? Do you know about this?
No, they're hearing about it, but I'll take a witness at face value here that Sanders did this. I don't think he did it because he's trying to do the right thing. He's long been ardent supporter of Israel. I think he's doing it for political cover. At some point in time, Joe Biden and the Democratic Party is going to have to distance itself from the atrocities being committed by Israel. And what Bernie Sanders has done, even though he's technically an independent, he caucuses with the Democrats. And I think that what he's done here is create the beginnings of a political cover of, as you call it, Jeff, a Plan B for the United States when it's time to cut and run from Ukraine because it's a sinking ship. We don't want to go down that sinking ship.
All right, let's take another phone call.
Because it's a sinking ship.
Turn down the computer. What's your question?
Okay, so,
Turn it down.
please, yes,
You can do it.
well,
You can do it. All right, what's your question?
please, yes, over again, Arcadia. Got rid of the president.
Scott Ritter for president. Okay. Is that it?
I want to talk that I think it's a realistic goal to get Scott Ritter elected president in 2028. I just want to talk that out.
Okay.
But Mr. Ritter, you have inspired me to study and learn Russian, and to begin to read Pushkin and the other great Russian authors. I'm 64 years old, but I'm going to be doing that for the rest of my life. I'd just like to ask you, have you read all of Pushkin? What do you think are his important poems? I gather that Eugene Onegin, is that like the central work where where you get the ideas about the Russian soul? And just any other comments you have about Pushkin?
All right.
Yeah,
Thanks
that's
for
my
your
question.
call. Thanks for your call. You can listen to President Ritter address that question on your computer. Thank you. Go ahead, Bill.
Well, first I want to commend you for learning the Russian language and familiarizing yourself with the great Russian authors. And of course, Alexander Pushkin is one of the greats. Eugene Onegin, of course, as you said. I mean, you know the answer. It is a poem that many people say best describes the Russian soul. I'm lately been reading up on the Bronze Horseman, another epic poem written by Pushkin about the statue of Peter the Great in St. Petersburg. Because if you look at the prologue, it talks about it sort of mocks the Finns and the Swedes. Peter the Great is building this city, St. Petersburg, in order to protect Russia from these two threats that we look at today, with Finland having joined NATO, Sweden on the cusp of entering NATO. It just seems to be relevant to get Pushkin's insight into the thinking behind the building of the city. Is again, I just think there's a lot of important parallels today. But no, you're doing very good. I
Do you
applaud
think this guy could possibly be the U.S. ambassador to Russia in the Ritter administration?
Well, he could be the U.S. ambassador to Russia in somebody else's administration. I can tell you that the not only the likelihood of me running, but the chances of me being elected are slim to none. So I appreciate the vote of confidence, but I'll keep doing what I'm doing. I think I do a better job as a citizen ambassador than I would do as a failed presidential candidate.
All right. Well, a 64-year-old guy can dream, can he? Give him something to live for. Kiki, who claims to be your biggest fan, and I don't know about that. How do we measure that? She's, you know what? I think I forgot to change it here, Portland, Oregon. So disregard that. But anyway, you have said before that Israel is not our ally. Then why does the U.S. staunchly continue to support them, even during times of genocide? There's that G word. I've been told they give us a foothold in the Middle East. Is this true? If not, then what do they do for us?
They bought us. They own us. You can listen to Alan Dershowitz. He gave a speech the other day where he, talks about the Jewish influence in America, and he doesn't, hide from it. He basically says that, the Jewish people who constitute, a small percentage of the American population dominate, that they don't need to apologize about it. He brags about how the American Jews are harder working, smarter, they've applied themselves better, and they deserve the right to have this influence. And they not only deserve the right, but they have to have this right in order to, basically get America on board to, the Israeli bandwagon, so to speak. So, but when I say that Israel's not our ally, Israel uses the United States. We're a tool for Israel. So, we're being fooled or lulled into a false sense of complacency, believing that we have somehow a foothold in the Middle East, in Israel. Israel doesn't want to give us a foothold in the Middle East. Israel just wants our money. Israel wants the political backing, the veto, the Security Council, etc. But Israel, doesn't want to open up its defense, its national defense, to the vulnerabilities that come with a genuine alliance with America. Plus, Israel spied on us. Who do you think Jonathan Pollard is? Do the research. Man who spied on the United States in the 1980s, took what we call the crown jewels of the intelligence business. The book that lists all of the frequencies that we monitor using our signal intelligence capabilities. And if you know that we're listening to you, if you know that we've broken a code, then you'll change the systems, and the money that we spent in getting into the position where we could listen to that particular communication is wasted money. Jonathan Pollard sold this to the Israelis, and then the Israelis in turn bartered it to the Soviet Union to get more Jews out of Israel. So Israel uses America. They killed American sailors. They attacked the USS Liberty, a flagrant attack, killed American sailors, wounded American sailors, never really apologized for it. Israel continues to spy on us. We saw the AIPAC, the American-Israeli Public Affairs Committee, back in the late 1990s, was a front for spies. They were liaisoning with the
Uncle.
Pentagon
Uncle,
officials, and some Pentagon officials were giving APAC classified information about Iran's nuclear missile program, and the APAC people gave that information to Israel. It's a spy, literally spying. So no, Israel's not our ally. I think that there's a lot of propaganda that goes into defining Israel's relation with the United States. Both Israel and the American Jews like to make it out as Israel's our greatest ally, that it's literally the 51st state. But the reality is Israel is one of the worst enemies America's ever had, because they've done more harm to America than many of our acknowledged enemies.
All right, let's take a voicemail message, or play a voicemail message from an anonymous caller.
Hi, Scott. Thank you for answering our questions while traveling through Russia. Now, to my question, I can understand the importance of Mykolaiv to secure Odessa once taken by the Russian army so that Ukraine does not pose danger to the Russian Navy around Crimea. But can you explain the strategic importance of the further northeast oblasts, Dnipropetrovsk and Kharkiv? Also, does the Ben-Gurion project play a role in the recent Israeli incursion into Gaza? Thank you so much.
Well, thank you for the question. I'll start with the Ben-Gurion project. Basically, the Ben-Gurion project is the idea that Israel is going to not be held hostage to the Suez Canal, and so they would build their own canal connecting the port of Eilat with the Mediterranean Sea. The plan envisioned extensive use of atomic demolition munitions to basically carve this canal out of the desert. It's a plan that has no chance of succeeding because no one's going to allow that many nuclear weapons to be detonated underground or to create these things. So I don't think the Ben-Gurion project had anything to do with it, because it's not an active, viable project, at least to the best of my knowledge. So that, the thing is, when you speak of Odessa, and I continue to believe that Odessa will be taken by the Russians as part of their demands. When this conflict ends with Ukraine, Vladimir Putin recently has come out and said that Odessa is a Russian city, and he's a man who's very careful with his words. So I'll take him at face value that Russia plans on taking it. And as the gentleman caller mentioned, to take Odessa, you have to go through Mykolaiv, and so they're going to have to take Mykolaiv as well. But now when you look at those two goals and objectives, how do you get there?
Oh my gosh. It's just gone. All right, while we're waiting for Scott to come back, let's do the coin giveaway. Let's put our time to good use. Give you a few more seconds if you want to type in hashtag coin in the live chat for, on Twitch, Twitter, X, Facebook, and YouTube. So let me get that all set up. Do that. All right, let us do the giveaway. And the winner is Paco Maman. Paco Maman, what a great name. Congratulations to you, Paco. If you'd like to send us an email, we'll be able to send that out to you. The email is info@ustourduty.org. Once again, congratulations to Paco. And we'll see if Scott comes back either on the internet or by phone. Right now, I'm not seeing him in either place. The next episode will be in a studio in Moscow, so we're expecting that to be a flawless internet connection. Famous last words. We'll see. Maybe that'll be good.
All right, guys. Thanks a lot for joining me for this short about hour and a half. Some world news talking about the FGC and its economy and some other stuff and some updates on the Valkyries. I got a lot to do tomorrow. It's 4 o'clock in the morning. So I'm going to cut it short here. And I'll be back tomorrow. I may stream a little bit early with the girls here before we switch off into Just Dance. That may be a possibility. If not, I'll be back on later on tomorrow night. And yeah. But thank you guys for joining me. Super Sky Shaman, big shout out to you. Thank you for the donation. I'll let you know what's going on with that meeting. I'll give you guys the update tomorrow evening on that and whatnot. But it is 4 in the morning. I'm dead tired. I'm gonna hit the sack and I'll catch you guys tomorrow. Deuces, everybody.
I'm Empress Nile. I manage and direct the Valkyries of Arcadia. The Valkyries of Arcadia, we are a multi-talented pop icon gaming group. Each Valkyrie has specific talents. For example, we have Hasari, she's our dance coordinator. We have Kwanai, she's our songbird, she sings. We have Silva Neko, she's into cosplay, graphic design, and she handles that part for the Valkyries. And we have Alicia, who is into fitness and wellness. The organization started around 20 years ago when Empire Arcadia, the company, was formed. The Valkyries of Arcadia is the female division. Anime, I wouldn't say is our main focus because we are multi-talented and we do focus on many things, but we do go to events like Anime Comfest, which has a multitude of different things there. For example, I host our annual Just Dance Off esports tournament every year. And also we do cosplay and we do different activities for people to enjoy. I don't only manage and direct, but I also do host events. For example, our Valkyrie retreats. That's where we either go to a private pool and hang out there, or we go out for sushi at East Japanese, and then we come back and end the day with our branded gaming streams. For example, we have Bed Lounge Game and Chat, which I stream on YouTube and Trovo. There we dress all cute and sexy in bed while having fun streaming our favorite video games. It is literally my life. It's work, but it's also very fun. I work in the television entertainment industry, where I also perform in music videos. I host entertainment shows, and I was also the host for Jamaica's only video game TV show, the Lab Video Game TV. I'm also currently working on the Valkyrie's very own reality TV show for Jamaica. There you can get a real inside look into how we live our lives. So it's real. This is real. Jamaica is slowly opening up to anime, pop culture on a whole. A few years ago, it would be seen as little pitney something. Go take up your book. But now, thanks to the internet and outside influence, of course, people are seeing that it's more of a career. It can be a very viable part, and Jamaica is also so rich in culture. So if we could mesh our culture with pop culture, anime, thanks to Anime Comfest and other events like that, Jamaican public are slowly opening up to it. And what I would like to see more of, we're kind of already doing it because people are opening up to anime. We're fine walking out in public in our cosplay so far. They're opening up. And the only thing I would like to change is the speed, but it is happening. Looking good is also a part of the job, which is why I'm an ambassador and a model for the digital, international, and print product of Jamaica magazine. Yeah, we even got our own exclusive magazine. You can find me pretty much everywhere on YouTube, Twitter, Instagram, all the socials at Empress Nile. That's EMPR3SS Nile.